Tech stocks are having a tough day once again today, and we got to talk about this. And at first glance, when you look at what the NASDAQ was down today, it doesn't look like, oh, it was a big deal. You know, NASDAQ was down around 0.85%. And when you see that number, it's like, okay, it's just a normal day. You know, markets kind of go up and down. You know, it's less than a 1% gain or loss there. Not a big deal. But then when you dig deeper and you look at some of the losses some of these stocks had today, some of the downward moves, some of these big name stocks, you realize it's way bigger than a 0.85% move, okay? So we're gonna kind of discuss all that, and then at the end, I'm gonna show you guys a stock that I used to own that unfortunately I sold out way too soon, and it was up absolutely massively today, guys. A stock that has just tore it up today. As you know, on days even when things are bad, people are still making money out there. All right, so first off, Roku, this one was down around 5% today. Then we go ahead and we look at Baidu, which is like the Chinese, I call it the Chinese Google. They were down over 3% today. We had Shopify, which has been a downward mover here the past let's say week or two. That one was down over 5% today, down around 5.6%, $7 per share today. iRobot was down around 4% today. That one's been a hot stock. Nvidia was down once again today, around $4 a share. We had Amazon take a big downward move here, $67. Amazon was down today, 4.5%, and basically on rumors that Trump might come after Amazon and things like that. I'm not sure if there's any truth to that, but that's the rumor out there right now. AMD stock is now under $10 a share at this point in time. That was down another 2% today. We had Square, which is another stock that has been a high flyer, that was down over 7% today. Tesla took another huge move downward today, down over 7.5% today, down around $21 a share. Netflix took another big downward move here today, down around 5%, $15 per share there. So real quick, before we get to the stock that tore it up, these tech stocks, what can save these stocks? Is there anything that's going to like help stop the bleeding? Because these stocks have been bleeding. Well, first off, we got to acknowledge that a lot of these companies, they're tech related, and a lot of these companies are high flyers, ones that have been going up and up and up, and maybe they just need to come down because some of these companies' valuations got too high. In a lot of these cases, you know, especially in with some of these stocks like Amazon, you know, Amazon's that's a stock right now that was approaching $1 trillion. It's still over $750 billion right now for a valuation on Amazon of a company that might make, you know, $4 to $8 billion in profit next year. That's not very much for a company that has that type of valuation on it right now. We saw stocks like Square, you know, AMD, a lot of these stocks that had been high flyers previously are kind of coming back down to earth now, you know, especially some of these companies that don't have much for earnings right now. But on the flip side, the bleeding could stop in the month of April. Here's why. Earnings are going to start coming out in April, and earnings for these tech companies should more than likely be good. So that should probably help stop the bleeding, although it's never for certain. And you know, who knows the way Wall Street will look at it. Maybe, you know, they'll maybe miss numbers. If that happens, obviously some of these stocks could fall more. It'll be very interesting, but earnings for majority of the tech companies are going to be coming out in the month of April, and we're only a few days away from April, guys. So it's going to get very interesting to see if this kind of like stops the bleeding or if this accelerates the bleeding here with tech stocks. All right, guys, a stock that was up massively today is RH, Restoration Hardware. This stock was up over 22% today. It's up to $92 a share. As you guys know, I used to be involved with this stock. This stock used to be on 3 stocks. I was buying, it was on several episodes. I got out of it way too soon. I think I got out of it in like the $40 range or so, and that was way too soon. It has so much more upside, as we can see. It hurts for me to see it. Basically, they sell very high-end furnishings and things like that, and their numbers came out very strong here. RH reported fourth quarter fiscal 2017 earnings per share of $1.69, surging 149% from the prior year quarter. Also, earnings surpassed Zacks consensus estimate of $1.56 by 8.3%. Revenues increased 14% to $670 million, but missed consensus mark, which they had around $671 million. RH comparable brand revenues inched up 2% year over year against an 18% decline in the prior year quarter. The company's direct revenues rose 10%, while store revenues increased 18% from the year earlier quarter. quarter. Margins were very strong all around there. As far as guidance there, they gave first quarter outlook of revenues projected to be between $555 million and $565 million. Adjusted gross margins to be projected somewhere around 36% there, a little over 36%. They had adjusted earnings per share are expected to be between 95 cents and $1.05, which is a very nice increase there. Fiscal year 2018 outlook, their expected net revenues to be a little over $2.5 billion, representing 5 to 7% growth, which isn't much growth in revenues there. But if you look at what's expected for earnings per share, it's dramatic. I mean, they're expecting $5.45 to $6.20 of earnings per share there. So it's a company that's, not expecting a ton of revenue growth, 5 to 7%, and that's like okay, but the earnings per share growth is astronomical right now with this company. And we look in the forward P's, not like it's not, with how much RH has gone up, you would think this forward P would be super high, and it's really not still even at these levels. It's in the 16 range right now. So it should be a very interesting stock to watch. Am I interested in getting back in this one? Probably not. It's rose so much now at this point that I'm kind of not even interested in the company very much. I still track it, and it's fun to track and see it go up 22% is like insane. Think about that. You had 100K in RH, for instance, you just made $22,000 profit today. So very big numbers there, but their revenue growth does not impress me. It's just that earnings per share growth, but earnings per share growth, eventually that's going to start to slow in a major way for RH, unless they can get those revenues to go back up in a major way and then get back to like a double-digit type revenue number up there. So interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think about tech stocks. Do you think they're going to continue to fall? Do you think the bleeding is going to kind of stop here and they're going to start moving back up? Do you think it's going to take until earnings start coming out in April for these stocks to kind of recover and things like that? Do you think it will get worse? I want to hear your guys' opinion in that comment section about these tech stocks and whatnot and what you're thinking there. Are there any stocks you own out there that are making moves downward or upward? I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day.